Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to my 2020 box office recap. And I'm just going to be real with all of you. My mood is not the greatest, and it's mainly because of what happened. Well, by the time this video comes out, what happened yesterday on the 6th. I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you what happened. It was all over the news all day long. But what I will say is that what happened on the 6th was terrible, appalling, and I condemn anyone who thought what happened on the 6th was a good thing. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm sorry for starting on such a dour note, but I just needed to get that off my chest before we get into anything else. So, yeah. So, in part one, we went through all of the winners in the pre pandemic era. In part two, we went through all of the losers in the pre pandemic era. Now, now we're going to get into all the movies that came out during the pandemic when theaters reopened in mid to late August. So, yeah, after January, February, and March 13th. March 13th was the last day for movies for a long time. Month after month. April, May, June, July, the first part of August. Nothing. Nothing. And it wasn't until August 21st something came out. And the first movie we have to talk about, since, it was the guinea pig, to restarting movie theaters, was Unhinged. And, a movie like this probably would have done semi okay in a normal landscape. I mean, I don't think it would have made, I don't think it would have been a blockbuster, but it could have done relatively decent. And, for pandemic standards, it is one of the biggest movies, which isn't saying a whole lot because it only made 20 million domestic, 36 million worldwide. That's on a 33 million budget. That's not good. But considering all the restrictions that were set in place, I mean, what chance does any movie have during this particular era? The chances of succeeding are not very high. But for the low standards of the pandemic box office, this did relatively good. Even though in normal standards, it did terrible. But yeah. Yeah, so Unhinged, it was the first movie to come out during this time. I didn't talk about Words on Bathroom Walls. It did bad. Nobody cares. There's Bill and Ted Face the Music. That was simultaneously on PVOD. I don't do that unless it's like... I'll do all the HBO Max theater hybrid movies. I'll do all those. But if it's just regular PVOD, I won't do it. Because it's too confusing. But the next main movie to talk about is The New Mutants. A movie that was doomed to fail for a long time. It was inevitable it would fail for many reasons. One, it's a Fox movie. Any Fox movie under Disney's control is an immediate death sentence. Two, this movie has been in the can for so long, for years. 3 years. I remember, clear as day, 2017, October 2017, a trailer for this movie came out, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that looks different. It looks interesting. And it was supposed to come out April 2018. That was the plan. Never happened. It got pushed again, and again, and again. And everyone assumed it would come out April 2020 because they had a new trailer. Everyone was like, all right, it's finally going to come out. This movie's going to make it. And then COVID happened, and all those, everything just went up in smoke. And then New Mutants got delayed again. A lot of people assumed it would just skip theaters and go to Hulu, but the thing is, it couldn't because of a contractual obligation. Like, Disney is contractually obligated to release all these Fox movies in theaters, no matter what. So even if it wanted to go to Hulu, it couldn't. So yeah, it had to be theatrical, no matter what. And eventually it did come out. The movie turned out to be terrible. And box office wise, it did terrible. Cost $67 million, only made $23 million domestic, $44 million worldwide. Terrible. It's a bomb. But still, for pandemic standards, it's one of the top performers. But that doesn't excuse it from being a colossal failure. A failure everyone saw a million miles away. Because, when a studio just delays a movie forever and it just keeps getting delayed for years, that's a sign it's not good. And what do you know? The movie wasn't good. And, this is the final X-Men movie. This is how the series ends after 20 years, 2 decades. This is how it ends before they get rebooted by the MCU. And, like the last 2 X-Men movies, this and Dark Phoenix, that is such a horrible way to go out. That's the worst possible way to go out. And there's a reason why a lot of people consider Logan to be the end, and they just ignore all the other movies that came after that. Although Deadpool 2 was okay. Deadpool 2 was good. Dark Phoenix, horrific. Disaster. I didn't see New Mutants. I'm not planning on seeing New Mutants ever. I have no real reason, no real desire. So, yeah. What can I say? This was inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. So that was the end of August. I know it was short. But now the big movie. The movie that I believe caused a lot of movies to get delayed. It caused a big old domino effect. And that movie's Tenet. See, when Tenet was coming out, a lot of people assumed that it would save the movie theater industry. Like, it would bring people back to the theater. And, they had good reasons. This was made by Christopher Nolan, the man behind the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Dunkirk. Man has a loyal following. The trailers for this movie looked really, really good. Even though nobody knew what was going on, but people were still interested. Highly interested. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2020. I was when it was supposed to come out in July, I wanted to see it so bad, but then things changed. It got pushed back several times before it eventually came out in September. I didn't even watch it because, I don't know, going to the theater at that point, it was just kind of super iffy. Like, I didn't want to take any unnecessary risk. And yeah, apparently a lot of people thought the same thing, and it did terrible in the United States. It only made I think this number is a bit inaccurate. I think it's closer to 60 million, but still, that's terrible considering the budget was $205 million. I think it's actually higher than that, like 220, but still, that's just awful. It's one of Christopher Nolan's lowest performing movies of all time, which is shocking. I mean, it's a huge come down from Dunkirk, from Interstellar, from the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception. And, under normal circumstances, this would have performed on par with all of those. Actually, better than some of those. But the world was against it. Fate was against it. And only made like $362 million worldwide, which, compared to all the other movies that have come out recently, that's fantastic. But still, compared to Christopher Nolan's other movies, it's weak. It's weak as hell. And I do believe Tenet's underperformance caused a bit of a ripple effect for the rest of 2020. Because when I made my prediction video, I think at the time, several movies were supposed to still come out. There was Wonder Woman was supposed to come out in October. Candyman was supposed to come out. What else? What else? What else? I think Black Widow, Soul, No Time to Die, Free Guy, Death on the Nile, several others. Yeah, those were all supposed to come out, but I believe Tenet's underperformance scared a lot of studios. They were like, if Tenet can't succeed, what chance do all these other high budget movies? What are the chances they succeed? They can, succeed. And they didn't want to take any risk, and they just delayed them, most of them the next year. So, yeah, I blame Tenet for killing the rest of the 2020 movie schedule, because after Tenet, things go downhill very, very quickly. And actually, before we talk about the other movies, because honestly, they're really not important. What is important is, I have to look it up. That way we can talk about it properly. Is Mulan 2020. It was supposed to come out in theaters. It was supposed to come out in March. Then it didn't. Then it was supposed to come out in July. Then August. And then Disney said, screw it. We're not releasing it in theaters, at least not in the United States. Instead, we're going to release it on Disney Plus at a cost of $30, which is stupid, in my opinion. That's way too much for a movie like this. I mean, for most movies, like, if it was $20, fine. That's the normal price for movies. But $30, that's too much. That's $10 too much. That's ridiculous. And it doesn't help that the movie sucked anyway. And it had a whole lot of just controversy. And it's not like the good type of controversy that fuels a movie like Wolf of Wall Street or Joker or Passion of the Christ. This was the bad type of controversy. Type of controversy that will kill a movie day one. Because, the whole thing with, obviously this is being based off a Chinese, story, Chinese legend. China had a large hand in this. Disney tried so hard to please that market, even though a lot of people were like, don't do that. Because I don't want to get into a bunch of political human rights stuff, because that's not what my channel is about. But it's kind of necessary to talk about it with this, because it was directly intertwined with Mulan. This movie caused boycotts, in Hong Kong, because the main actress of the movie, she supported, like, the police that were against protesters in the country. That was all the way back in, like October 2019. And then things just got worse. There was this reveal that they filmed the movie at, like, a concentration camp, and then they actually gave thanks to the concentration camp. A whole lot of really bad shit associated with this movie that will forever be just... It's a part of this movie's legacy, I guess. Should I even say legacy? Legacy is kind of hard with a movie like this. A movie that shouldn't have existed in the first place, because you're remaking a movie I love. The 1998 Mulan. Love that movie. So you've already... It's already a red flag when you're remaking a movie I like, but then you just did all the other stuff associated with it. And then I didn't watch the movie, because why the hell would I pay $30 for a movie I could just watch for free later on down the line? Because I have Disney Plus. So all I had to do was wait 3 months to watch it for no additional cost. But I saw one scene in the movie where I think it was like a death scene, and it looked so terrible. I was just like, all right, that's it. I don't need to see the rest of the movie. That's all I need to see. It was just... I don't... God. I'm done talking about Mulan. I never wanted to talk about it again, but I have to. But now, hopefully, I never talk about it ever again, because it's a movie that is bad on every level, morally and critically. And yeah, enough about Mulan. So we also got some smaller movies because all the big-ish movies left. We have Broken Hearts Gallery, 4 million, nobody cared. Infidel, 4 million, nobody cared. It's not until October 9th where we have like another big-ish movie. A movie that made a little bit of cash, even though I'm sad it did make cash. And that's The War with Grandpa. I mean, when your movie's tagline is old school versus new cool, it should fail automatically, but it didn't. And it's, surprising because one of the things that a lot of people said, when movies were coming back is people were like, what about family movies? Like, are families really gonna go to the theater to see movies? Because I'm pretty sure parents don't want their kids to potentially get sick. So, yeah, that was a huge question mark for a while. But The War of Grandpa, for the low standards of the pandemic, it did relatively fine. Made 18 million domestic, 31 million worldwide. I mean, it's still a low gross, but it could have been a whole lot worse. I was hoping it would be worse, but sadly, it wasn't. So, War of Grandpa, you got lucky. You got real lucky. All right. I wanted to drag you through the mud, but I can't. Well, I guess I can drag you through the mud by saying it's a terrible movie, but box office wise, it didn't do the worst. That's the best I can say about it. It did not do the worst. After that, we have Honest. Well, actually, we have Two Hearts. Made $1 million. Who cares? Honest Thief with Liam Neeson. It didn't do as well as, say, Unhinged, but it still did better than most when it comes to all the pandemic movies. And, Liam Neeson, this man will single-handedly save the prediction video series on the channel because he has another movie coming out in January, The Marksman, another action movie, because that's his genre. That's been his genre since Taken over a decade ago. So, yeah, he just makes these movies like a dime a dozen. And if he wants to continue making them, then let him. It gives me more movies to talk about. So keep on doing what you're doing, Liam Neeson. Yeah, not much else to say about Honest Thief. It made 25 million worldwide. Not good, but could have been worse, I guess. Yeah. So that's it for Honest Thief. Oh, I didn't even mention that for a long time there was just a bunch of Disney movies being re-released because I guess Disney wanted to make a couple dollars. They wanted to make a couple dollars, and so they just re-released a bunch of old movies. They re-released Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, a bunch of Marvel movies, some Star Wars movies, because they have a lot. They have a huge catalog. They're allowed to re-release movies to make a few bucks. So, I mean, who's going to stop them? I mean, it's not wrong to re-release movies. It's not illegal. So, yeah. There was, Monsters, Inc. was another one. Addams Family, 2019, blah. Empty Man made like $3 million. The movie, it's a Fox movie, so that's a death sentence. I'm sorry, 20th Century Studios movie. My mistake. But yeah, being that type of movie under Disney's control, that's a death sentence. The movie was just sitting, collecting dust for like 3 years. The trailer for this movie didn't come out until a week, 7 days before it came out. That's crazy. I mean, it's not as crazy as, say, Cloverfield Paradox, which released its trailer mere hours before it came out on Netflix. But like 7 days, it's obvious Disney sacrificed this movie. They knew it would make no money, so they were just like, well, we gotta release something. Release this. Just throw it out there and let it die. So yeah, that's basically what happened to Empty Man, and nobody cared. Come Play, it did a lot better than Empty Man. It made almost 10 million domestic. Worldwide, it made 10 million. For a movie that opened on Halloween, like directly on Halloween, it came out. It was the 30th. Yeah, it was the 30th. Came out the 30th. Halloween was Saturday. Usually in normal times, Halloween on a weekend is just instant death. Like if you're a family movie, good night. It's over. Because obviously kids are out trick or treating and parents are with them because they don't want their kids, going near weird white vans, obviously, or they don't want any creeps coming after their kids. So parents gotta keep an eye on their children when they're trick or treating. And of course, there's Halloween parties. Although I'm pretty sure that those type of things weren't. What's the word? I'm trying to think of it. They weren't exactly encouraged during this year for obvious reasons. But Come Play, it did better than I expected. So congratulations, I guess. And yeah, that's not much else to say about that. And then we got Let 'Em Go. So we're now in November. We have Let 'Em Go, came out, did a bit better than expected. It opened okay-ish, but then restrictions started coming back again, which really cut into this movie's legs. But it made like 9 million domestic, 10 million worldwide. Could have been worse. I mean, when this came out, there was like the election was going down, so I'm pretty sure some people wanted to escape from that. They wanted a distraction, and this was perfect for them. So Let 'Em Go. You could have It could have been worse, but you still didn't do great. Oh, one thing to note is that Universal have been single-handedly like the only studio that's willing to support theaters during this time, because you see like Let 'Em Go, Focus Features, Come Play, Focus Features. Focus Features is a division within Universal. Is a division within their studio. So technically these are Universal movies. They're just not under the Universal name. Now Freaky is under the Universal name. This was the first major studio movie to come out since Tenet. So I had high-ish hopes for it, and that didn't happen. Because it only made 8 million domestic, made 14 million worldwide on I forgot what the budget was. I think it was very low. Maybe 5 to 10 million, I'm guessing. But yeah, I expected a lot more because the premise was relatively simple. It was easy to understand. It was basically the horror version of Freaky Friday, where you got a teenage girl and a serial killer switching bodies. Reviews were really good, and it looked like this movie would do good, but it just didn't. Things worked against it, and it's kind of sad, but what can you do? So, yeah, what happened to Freaky is somewhat tragic, but not much I can do about it. So yeah, after that there was like Vanguard, made less than $1 million with Jackie Chan. Who cares? Now the next major movie, The Croods: A New Age. So of all the movies that ditched the end of 2020, this was one of the few that didn't. In fact, it stayed put on Thanksgiving, even though everything was working against it. Theaters were depleting fast. Like theaters that were open were depleting very quickly. And of course, there was still, the War of Grandpa, a lot of people could have considered that just a fluke. Because, again, it's hard to tell if families are willing to go to the movies. But according to the Croods 2, they are, to some degree. Because it has had the second best performance out of any movie during the pandemic era. It made 34 million domestic, 115 million worldwide, which is somewhat surprising. And I mean, sure, the movie's not a hit technically. It cost 65 million, hasn't even doubled its budget, but it could have. I mean, I've said it plenty of times, but that's basically the best way I can describe all these movies. Could have been worse, considering everything that was going on. But what's strange is that DreamWorks, everyone knows what happened with Trolls World Tour. Supposed to come out in theaters, went to PVOD, pissed a lot of theaters off. AMC basically just said, "Screw you, Universal. We're not playing any of your movies." Took 3 months for the two to make up and put all of it behind them, all that drama behind them. And so they were like, "Okay, we'll give you The Croods: A New Age. It'll come out in theaters." But for some reason, Boss Baby 2, they were like, "No, we gotta push it back. It can't come out. It's too important. We can't sacrifice another sequel." So yeah, I thought that was weird. But yeah, Croods 2 for pandemic standards, phenomenal. Normal standards, horrific. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. And that was it for a while. I mean, sure, there was like these movies all my life, Half Brothers. Nobody saw them. Nobody cares about them. Let's move on. So blah 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 blah. December 18th, we get some major movies now from more studios. More studios coming in. We got Fatale from Lionsgate. Made $3 million. Nobody cared at all. It was like the most generic thriller, like Killer Instinct, not Killer Instinct. What the hell am I thinking? Basic Instinct. Is that the name of the movie? I'm pretty sure that it is. Yes, Basic Instinct. And nobody gave a shit. So that's enough of that. Then we got Monster Hunter from Sony. I thought it would do a little better because it is based off of a notable video game property, from Capcom. But nope. No. This movie went through some hot water in China. They were banking on China so hard for it, and then there was apparently a scene that pissed off a lot of people in China, got the movie pulled, so they had to remove it in the American version. Didn't even help because nobody went to see it. Made 6 million domestic, 60 million worldwide. Budget is 60 million. Big old yikes under any context. And honestly, I knew the movie would be bad because the director is Paul W.S. Anderson, the man responsible for the Resident Evil movies. Well, he didn't direct a few of them, but he was a part of the whole series in some capacity. That was his series, and none of those movies were very good. They weren't even adaptations, they were fan fictions. And apparently this movie is the same. It has nothing to do with the games, it's just fan fiction. And he put his wife, Mila Jovovich, in the movie, because of course he did. And nothing against Mila Jovovich. I think she's fine in this role. I think she's good as an action heroine. It's just that her associated with her husband and ruining Capcom video game franchises, I don't know what it is. It's just weird. And it's sad. It's kind of sad because Paul W.S. Anderson made the first Mortal Kombat movie, and for the longest time, that was the only video game movie I considered to be good. At least until the Sonic movie. But yeah, I wasn't surprised. I knew this movie would be bad just from the get-go. So yeah, that's it for Monster Hunter. Then Christmas Day, 4 movies came out. The first was News of the World. It's from Universal. At least they were giving theaters something, but Didn't work. Only made $5 million domestically. It didn't even have an overseas release. Overseas, it went to Netflix. So there's that. And yeah, it did kind of terrible because Christmas is very lucrative. Like the holiday season is extremely lucrative. Like the movies have insane legs during this time. Greatest Showman and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle are historic examples of that. But it didn't really work this time. People didn't want to show up for really anything. Not News of the World, definitely not Pinocchio, definitely not Promising Young Woman. They did show up somewhat to Wonder Woman 1984. So we have to talk about that. The last big movie to come out of this year, and there's a lot to talk about. I mean, it was a sequel to the 2017 hit. The first movie was a hit critically, commercially. The audiences really liked it. Fans liked it. Everybody liked the movie. So obviously, people thought they were going to like the sequel. But then COVID happened. The movie got delayed endlessly until December. And then the big bombshell happened. It would go to HBO Max and theaters at the exact same time. And then eventually it led to all of Warner Brothers' 2021 movies getting the exact same treatment, which caused a whole lot of controversy and drama within the industry. A lot of filmmakers were pissed. Christopher Nolan was pissed. Denis Villeneuve was pissed. It was bad. And so Wonder Woman was the first to follow this new trend. And did it work? I'm going to say, from box office perspective, no. We don't have any numbers from its HBO Max launch. How many subscribers, how do I describe this? I'm losing my train of thought. If the movie led to an increase in subscribers, how many people watched the movie on HBO Max? They're not saying anything at all. There's nothing concrete out there. So I can't really judge it on that front, but from the box office perspective, it's a bomb. No question. It cost $200 million to make. It doesn't say it here, but it cost like $200 million. It's made $28 million so far. I mean, it opened to $16 million, which is by far and away the biggest debut of the pandemic. Then it had a 67% drop, which is on par with the early DCEU movies. Your Man of Steels, your Batman v Supermans, your Suicide Squads. And that's bad because Wonder Woman came out right after those. And everyone was like, yay, the DC movies are saved. And then immediately after that was Justice League, which set everything back to square one. Then Aquaman came out, made $1 billion. So everyone was like, all right, it's going good again. Then Joker made $1 billion. Then Birds of Prey bombed. And now Wonder Woman 1984 bombed. So we're back to square one yet again. So, and I heard the movie is quite bad. It's not good, which is a damn shame because I really loved the first one. I mean, I could watch it. I have HBO Max. I mean, my mom has HBO Max. I just use her account. So I could watch the movie. I don't know if I want to because of all the things I heard about it. It's a damn shame. Damn shame because I thought, for a movie as good as the first Wonder Woman, I really had hope for the sequel. I really did. But apparently, that first movie was a fluke. Absolute fluke. Because this movie went down the wrong path. And I know there's a third Wonder Woman movie confirmed. I don't know if it'll go through or not, because that's the thing. Whenever something is going bad with a movie, the studio likes to say, oh, there's another one coming. We just confirmed another one just to make people believe that the movie is good when it really isn't. That's what Fox did with Fantastic. They announced a sequel so far in advance because they thought it would increase, hype for that movie. And of course, the Dark Universe. Who can forget the Dark Universe with The Mummy in 2017? they announced the Dark Universe before the Mummy 2017 came out. Yeah, so this is not a new thing. So don't be surprised if that third Wonder Woman movie just is in developmental hell or it just never comes out. Don't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, and the last movie to talk about is it here? I guess I have to look it up because it was supposed to be in theaters. It was actually supposed to be in theaters in June. It got pushed to um, November, and then big announcement it would go to Disney Plus, and that movie was Soul. Soul from Pixar. It's, I mean, under normal circumstances, this would have been a bona fide hit because unlike Onward, which was more of a side project, Pixar, it's clear Pixar, they had a lot more faith in this because it came out in the summer. June is the greatest time to release a Pixar movie. It just is. From all their movies, like really the summer season as a whole is a great time to release a Pixar movie because kids are out of school, so it's perfect. Perfect. It's ideal timing. Many of Pixar movies, Finding Nemo, not The Incredibles, that was November. Cars 1 through 3. Actually, scratch Cars 1 through 3. Nobody likes those movies. Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Brave, Monsters University, Inside Out, Finding Dory, Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, all were mega hits. So obviously this would follow suit. But then COVID happened. The movie ended up getting pushed back to November. And a lot of people thought it would stay there, but then things changed. It was released on Disney Plus Christmas Day, same day as Wonder Woman. I don't know how successful it was because again we have no real numbers coming out. But from what I've heard, the movie is very, very good. This is like peak Pixar. This is like the A tier Pixar, not C or D tier, which is like the Cars movies. This is A tier Pixar. So since I have Disney Plus, I'll probably watch it because I don't have to pay for it. Thank Christ. I'd be pissed if I had to do that. But yeah, it's a shame it didn't come out in theaters. I definitely would have seen it if things went the way they were supposed to. But it was out of my control. There are a lot of movies in 2020 I was looking forward to seeing in theaters when they were supposed to come out. I think of a couple off the top of my head. There was Quiet Place 2. There was Black Widow. There was Fast and Furious 9. Wonder Woman 1984. Even though there was a chance I would have hated it. Soul, Top Gun Maverick, Free Guy, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Tenet, Morbius. I don't know about Bill and Ted 3. I don't know much about Bill and Ted. I could have given it a chance, but I don't know. Candyman, I don't know. I was kind of iffy on it. I probably would have watched it out of just pure curiosity because I've never seen Candyman. I know, but it would have been my first experience if things went the way they were supposed to. What else? Well, I'm trying to think of the original schedule. Trying to think what was supposed to come out during that time. Oh, God. Halloween Kills was supposed to come out. I would have seen that. I would have seen Godzilla vs. Kong. I would have seen Dune. Yeah, there's some others I'm missing, but I would have seen a lot of stuff. And it's sad that I wasn't able to. And it honestly it depresses me a little bit. But maybe this year will be better. I mean, probably by mid 2021 I should be able to watch movies in theaters. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna make any guarantees, but I don't know. But let's look at 2021 real quick as of right now, just to see what is on the horizon. So there's all the main movies, like big movies that people actually care about. I guess the first one, there's Tom and Jerry. Not interested in that. Raya and the Last Dragon, could watch that. I'm interested in that. Kingsman, don't care. Morbius, eh. No Time to Die, ugh. Peter Rabbit 2, I know a lot of you Peter Rabbit stands will watch it, but it won't be me. Bob's Burgers, Quiet Place 2, yes. Black Widow, yeah. Rumble, no. Free Guy, yes. Godzilla vs. Kong, yes. Fast and Furious 9, yes. Don't care about Conjuring 3. Ghostbusters Afterlife, sure. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, hell yeah. I'm hoping it's a bad movie. I'm hoping it's the good type of bad. Top Minions Rise of Gru, hell no. Top Gun Maverick, yeah. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, yeah. Forever Purge, maybe. Space Jam: A New Legacy. It's a sequel to Space Jam. I think it's gonna be bad, but I'll give it a chance, even if I think it will be bad. Uncharted, don't have much faith in that. There's Old, that's M. Night Shyamalan's new movie. I might watch it just because it's M. Night Shyamalan. I'm hoping it's the cringy type of Shyamalan movie. The Green Knight, I will watch that. I wanted to watch that so bad last year, and it didn't come out. It was just in the ether for so long, but it's coming out next year, and hopefully by this time things are cool. I will watch it. Opening night. Let's go. The Suicide Squad, I'll watch that. None of these I'll really watch. Oh well, there was it's not on here. Don't Breathe 2. If it's confirmed to be next year, I will watch that opening night. Candyman, maybe. Jackass 4, none of these. No Death on the Nile, no Boss Baby, Family Business. Dune, probably. There's a good chance. Halloween Kills, yeah. Internals, yeah. Spider-Man 3, the MCU version, yeah. Clifford the Big Red Dog, I saw one look at that trailer and I was like, no. Not, no, thank you. Mission Impossible 7, sure, even though there was that whole Tom Cruise outburst, that whole thing. I'll still watch it because I really like the recent Mission Impossible movies. They're really good. I'm not going to see West Side Story. Matrix 4, I'll probably watch that. And then that's it. I'm not watching Sing 2. Ever. I don't know about Enchanto. I don't know much about it, so I can't make a judgment call on it. But that's all the movies that are the main movies that are coming out next year. The ones that at least I'm interested in. So I guess I gotta ask, what movies are you interested in this year? Or all the movies that managed to come out this year? Which ones are you interested in? Which ones are you willing to see? Let me know. Of all the movies that came out last year, all the movies that managed to, at least, which ones did you see? Which ones did you like, dislike? Let me know. And yeah, that's it for this little mini series. The next recap I'll do will be on December and January. That won't be till February. So yeah. So that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got separate playlists. I got the canceled series that goes over all the movies that were supposed to come out last year and this year, like the Batman. Pisses me off so much that I was robbed of the Batman because the trailer looked so fucking awesome, and now I have to wait till 2022 to watch it. It sucks. It really sucks. Yeah. So you want to look at that playlist and all the episodes I've done about the whole cancel, all the movies that have been essentially canceled, go right ahead. I also have box office predictions of last year, all the movies that managed to come out. I did predictions for all of them. Go watch that. I will soon start my 2021 predictions with The Marksman. I'm pretty sure it's The Marksman. Yes, it's likely The Marksman. That'll be my first 2021 box office prediction video. So look forward to that. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye. And that's